All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I think I've met all of you who are on live, but for those listening to the recording, my name is Dina Kretzer, and it is such an honor to come together tonight with my dear friend Kim Hoffman for us to bring our teams together and just hear from those who had the privilege of being together at that retreat in Paola this last weekend. And because we want to keep this inside 30 minutes, we're going to be super mean and set a timer for 2 minutes so that you get to hear from every single person who was there. So I'll just start off with sharing a couple of my takeaways. And that is if you are newer in Arbonne, you may have heard your upline speak of Arbonne's culture, Arbonne's community, the loving culture, the supportive, inclusive community. But it's not until you begin to attend things like this leadership retreat or your local team events or GTC or go on incentive trips or all of the above that this really becomes real and deeply meaningful to you. And Kim is one of those friends, and now Michael, who I have gotten to know because of doing these things and meeting others. Kim is ENVP Valerie Edwards' upline, and this annual retreat that we went to is primarily Valerie's success line, but she opens it to anyone in Arbonne, any level, who wants to come. Kim and I met 5 years ago when she warmly welcomed me at my first MVP retreat, and we have become close friends over the years. So our team went to this retreat at Kim's invitation and encouragement, and we all found it so meaningful. Our team doesn't benefit Kim in any way, but she cares about me and wanted our team to experience this retreat. Now she knows and cares about all of you too. And we are so appreciative, Kim. We already plan to return and bring others with us. So that's my first one, just seeing the culture of that when one wins, we all win, really lived out by you, Kim. And we felt very much a part of the group and not the outsiders. There's just no such thing as that in Arbonne. And then very quickly, so I stay under my 2 minutes. While we were there, we learned that there's a call that's been going on for a few months at 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. Sorry, Central people, that several of the VPs there lead. And again, open to everyone. I think Kim said it's not even all Arbonne. It's a guided meditation, a very unhurried time to journal gratitude, focus on our purpose and goals, really fill our minds with positivity at the start of the day. And Melinda and Thomas and I have been on it all 3 mornings this week. And I know that I will continue, and I'll post the Zoom after the call. Kim has it for all of you on her team. So I'm going to turn this over to Lindsay before I run out of time. And I just loved getting to meet you and get to know you a little bit at dinner, Lindsay. So all yours.
I so enjoyed meeting you guys too. That's one thing that is so special about Arbonne is the people you meet become very quickly some of the deepest, most meaningful connections you will have. It's the relationships and the friendships with your sidelines, which is what we call people who are not directly a part of our team. And it always fills my cup so much. And I think what stood out the most to me, I've been in Arbonne for almost 12 years now. Kim and I were talking about that. I launched my business in December, at the end of December in 20, I think it was 2012. Crazy. And, like that's truly like the best time. But the Paola retreat, it just reminded me of my purpose in Arbonne. It reminded me of my passion. It reminded me of the culture and the connection and the community and really why I'm building this. And I was also reminded, don't skimp on the personal development. I was someone who was guilty of that for a little bit. I have 3 boys, 6 and under. And it gets a little wild sometimes, especially with my husband being a firefighter. And, he's gone every third night for 24 hours. And, but it's really true what they say. They can be our excuses or our why. And when we do the personal development, we're not just checking off boxes, but it's who we are being. It's who we are being. And that is so attractive to other people. And when you do the little things, like for us, it's a 5:30 a.m. call. And I'm doing it with 3 boys, 6 and under. I'm telling you, it starts off my day in a way that nothing else can. It sets me up for success. I'm happier. I'm more proud of myself. I have more confidence. And belief, Kim Hoffman, you always taught me belief has a sound. So I feel so blessed to have met your beautiful team, Dina and Amber, especially to have connected with you. And I'm just so excited to continue that friendship.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. I think we got as far as saying, Amber, you go next, and then we gave up and said, we'll just have someone jump in. So someone be ready to jump in after Amber. You're on, girl.
I loved being at the retreat, Kim. Thank you so much for inviting us. I just felt like I feel like whenever I'm with like the Arbonne community, I feel like I'm home. So, and I know it was just so nice for me to be there to obviously fill up my cup, but it was really fun to have a teammate there who, um, not only loved Arbonne, she loves Arbonne, she loves this business. She's like so on fire, but even more on fire now after that retreat. And so that was like really, really fun. And I know when I first started the business, like a month into I think maybe 2 months in, I read the book GoPro by Eric Worre. And I just remember one of the things he said is like, go to all the events you possibly can that your company puts on. And whether that's GTC, it's like what you can do. And obviously, if you can't make it work, you can't. But I could make this trip work. And I'm so glad I did. I had a lot of takeaways. My biggest one I think was I liked everybody. It's hard to pick like all of my takeaways, but the few were um, Peyton Mott was one of our guests for the weekend, and she's so lovely, and I love her. Um, One of the things I think I felt so excited that I was there, and so excited. I'm still so excited about my business. But when she said the best is ahead of you, I'm like, well, how can it get any better? I just love this business so much. It brings me so much hope and happiness, even when life is really tough. And so that was one thing that just kind of hit me. And then another thing that she shared was don't be around people whose vision is small and who are negative in their business, or, it could even be just people that you surround yourself outside of Arbonne, but be around people who are doing bigger and you know, um, being the person you want to become, even, so that was definitely something I want to just continue to do because I have really big goals this year, and so that's going to be a big one. And then another thing that just felt like it was kind of a little convicting was if I can't do the small things I said I was going to do, I can't do the big things that I said I was going to do. And I know if I can do the small things, that's going to continue to build confidence in me. For example, if I wake up in the morning and I make my bed and I get right into something I'm supposed to do for Arbonne and not get distracted and do something else that seems more fun, I know that that's just going to continue building my business, but also building my confidence. And that goes to my last thing, which is a lot what Lindsay shared was just personal development. There's so much to be said when you're working in the dark and working on your mindset. That was something that she shared. And that is so true, that personal development, that mindset, because I just don't feel like we can people need our energy. They need our light. They need what this business, when you're at a retreat like this, I'm always like, I wish everybody I've ever met could be sitting in this room right now and have what I have. And so I know that my mindset and that energy and the things that I'm doing behind the scenes that nobody sees is really important as I continue to build my business, because my hope is everybody that I do know is eventually going to be in that room. So that was my takeaway.
That's awesome, Amber. Thank you so much for sharing. Who would like to go next? Jump. Hi, Melinda. Turn on some light over there. I can bear
I'm sorry. I was trying to. Is that better?
That's better. That's better.
Okay. Um, so I was very excited to hear people's personal stories. And I came home and told my husband I'm doing the 30 days to wellness. And I told him, I said, in 30 days we leave for, or actually, no, I'm sorry, 30 days and 1 week we leave for a trip together. And we both put on some extra weight. I explained to him what I was doing, and he's like, Can I try one? And so he tried one of the essential meals and loved it. And I said, look, it's a mindset. And if you're going to do a shake, an essential meal shake, and then go eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's, then don't get in my stash because, you know, I don't want it wasted. And I said, you're either in or out. And he said, I'm in. So I'm very excited about that. Um, but in the past, he hasn't always been the best accountability partner. So I'm sticking with Beth because it's on. And but yeah, we're gonna root each other on and I've ordered some supplies I've never ordered before. Things that, my roomies were suggesting to me. And I really just had a great time getting to know Beth and Thomas and staying at this beautiful bed and breakfast. It was just an amazing weekend, like top 10 weekends of my life. So thank you
Thank,
guys. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Beth.
thank you. And I
And thank
really,
you, Dina, for inviting me.
and I was going to say, I admire you and Jesse, I admire everyone who came, but you two were so brand new. And Amber and I really appreciate your trust in us. Jesse's and Amber, yours and mine, that got you to say, yeah, I'll book a flight and I'll go where, Paola, with you. So thank you so much. Um, who wants to go next? Beth, Thomas, Irma, any of those? Michael. Okay,
Okay, I'll go if that's okay.
go for it.
Okay. So yeah, again, it was very nice to meet all of you. It was actually very exciting to see that these two groups were not even upline or downline to each other, and that we were like old friends, or you guys were having those conversations like you knew each other forever. That was very impressive. And I just wanted to share one takeaway that I had when the 10-year panel were talking about it and they had questions. Some of the things that it was spoken there, for example, and this one, Michael actually was the one that said it. How do you get your fear out? And he was saying, when you start to listen and not making it about yourself. And I thought that's always the thing, that we need to stop thinking about ourselves and making it about the person we're talking to. Also, signing someone new, how do you keep them engaged? You plug them into everything. You drip, 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 and that's how you continue sharing. You give them resources and you participate, like Amber was saying. You participate, you plug in on anything that is available. A message, something that adds value. That is the dripping that you can do on a daily basis or weekly basis. And then that 10-year panel in comparison to the 20-year panel, the 20-year panel was a big vision, people and commitment. And how do you keep motivated? It's like bathing. You do it frequently. And the 4 areas where you should be focusing on is the company, the products, yourself, and the industry. And if you're shaking, that if you don't feel comfortable in 2 of those items, to go and begin, train yourself, educate yourself, because as you educate yourself, you become excited and you start sharing. I didn't know this. It's like when we learn something, you just want to tell everyone. So that's the excitement that I think we need to continue sharing. So those were the 2 takeaways for me. And thank you so much for having that open mind and sharing that meal with us. That was very nice. And I hope we can do it next time in another retreat. So
I'm
thank you.
planning on it, planning on next year already. Thanks, Irma. And Beth, Thomas, Michael.
Michael.
Okay.
Well, I'm kind of a nuts and bolts kind of guy. And when in the breakout sessions, Peyton Moss did a lot of talking very quickly. And one thing caught me almost by surprise because I'm so guilty of not doing it. And what she said was that when you're finishing qualification for whatever level, that when you finish that qualification, you should be shooting to end that qualification period with 50% more than the qualification number that you have. So, for instance, if you're in qualification for district, it's $2,500 for 3 months, basically. So that at the end of that qualification period, ideally, your last month, you should have 5,000, 5,000, 50% more, so that you're halfway to the next level. You don't want to ever take your foot off the gas, because when you take your foot off the gas, the momentum disappears. And I know all about that. And it was like, oh, okay. I've never looked at it like that. And taking a peek at it like that, it makes perfect sense, because once you maintain the momentum, the next level becomes the next level quickly. That's my nugget and my takeaway. And I really, really I had a really good time, and I really enjoyed meeting everybody that you brought, Dina. And very nice to meet you too.
Thank you. And I very much enjoyed staying in your home and having such great service to have your coffee shakes made, gym driver. Anyway, so don't leave, Michael. Okay, next. You know who it's down to over there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I can go, Dina.
Okay.
So just to reiterate what we talked about at dinner, since we're recording the call, I think the head trash that we tend to accumulate is dispelled the minute that we're in the room with all of our cohorts, all of our Arbonne cohorts. And I also don't think any of us on this call can possibly deny that when you're in the room with everyone that glows the way everyone glows at an Arbonne meeting, it is the most undeniable thing I've ever seen. I said, I can't imagine coming back to social media and friending people that I've met at the event, and showing pictures to my husband, like going, how do you argue with this? Like, how does this not hold water? This is, it's so true. And I had a failed attempt in Arbonne in 2004. And by the grace of, I came across a signature line in Fran Babishek's email, of which she was an Arbonne affiliate. And I said, there is no way you are in Arbonne. And she says, you know Arbonne? So when I traded teams in 2017, so I'm 20 years in, but I'm only counting the last 7 with my real sisterhood. Everything is a learning curve, trying to stay on track, keeping the head straight. I am unmanageable. I'm coachable, but I'm unmanageable. And so, I'm erring on the side of humility. There is no questioning what this company does for people in their life, and the people that it attracts, and the energy of the people that it attracts. And I think Michael said the most beautiful thing. I thought it was so great, because I was the other one that brought the boy who gets to speak next. But when you hear the clarity in saying something like the years he spent in medicine and attending those meetings, and then going to an Arbonne meeting, he says, everybody's happy. Like, that's a concept. And I came from corporate America, 38 years in it. And I had to laugh because it is incredibly different to attend a place with people who want to be where they are. So it was an amazing experience. Kim, we're indebted to you for taking on your misfit toys that all came with Dina, and hosted and had such intriguing conversations. So we're so grateful. Thank you both.
So grateful. Thanks, Beth. All right, Thomas. You
All right.
survived
So
rooming with Beth. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to Kim for definitely extending to Dina because it really made a huge difference. When I go to these conferences, everybody's like, "What do you want to get out of it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'll figure it out when I get there." And it seems like the last two GTC and this one, it just a light bulb went off. Because I was able to share, some just be very vulnerable with Melinda and Beth about, just different things. And that really opened my mind about just being present with yourself and personal growth. And it just is amazing how this community is so loving and caring about each other. And just to see from the 20-year panel to the 10-year panel to the group that was just, there were some consultants that were just brand new. It was just amazing how everybody was so opening and welcoming. And it was just unbelievable. I just couldn't get over it, just how everybody was just so, because you go to GTC and there's all these people do speak, but here they made a point to come up and say, "Hey, how are you?" And it just was very, very warming that to see that on such a small level. And definitely personal growth is a huge thing. I've really been working on that, and I'm so thankful for this call that we're doing every morning at 5:30. Just amazing. I've only been doing it for 2 or 3 days now, and I've seen such a huge difference. So I'm just excited where business is going and just thankful for this group. Couldn't be any more thankful than what I am.
Thomas, thank you so much. And I didn't set those mean old timers because I could see that we were doing just fine without it. And Kim, now you've got plenty of time to say anything that you want to share tonight. We're all ears.
Thank you so much, Dina. I so enjoyed our time together and just cherish you and our friendship. Thank you so much because of our bond, right?
Because of our
Yeah, that's right, because of our bond. So the first thing that comes to my mind, and I want you to really think about this, is when we say we are better together, this is an example of that. And that's the first thing that comes out into my mind is that after 28 years, I'm going on my 29th year now, that is more and more true with each and every year. Okay. So the other thing that I wrote down is the biggest vision painter wins. So I am a very descript person and I love to tell stories. And I find that when we share the vision of what's possible, that is so powerful. And so rather than telling them the facts and the figures and the statistics and the ingredients, just paint the vision of what's possible. It doesn't matter if it's probable, it's possible. And when we say impossible, it's I'm possible. I'm possible, not impossible, right? Um, you just need to know that your your belief in others and your commitment to your team is so valuable, and they know that and they feel that. And um, events is everything. I think Amber shared this. I mean, it is everything. And when Linda and I first started 28 years ago, I want you all to know right here and now, we did not have the funds to go to the events, but we went and we believed. And one thing that we did not have the opportunity to share because our questions did not give us an opportunity to share this, and I wanted you all to hear this, is that our first Arbonne presentation was at my agency. We invited all of these people. Linda made cookies. I made hot apple cider. And it was December and it was Linda's launch party, so to speak, but we just didn't call it that back then. And no one showed up. And most people would have just said, okay, well, no one showed up. Let's just get in the car and let's just go. Better luck next time. But you know what we did? We sat down on the floor. We had a cookie. We had some hot apple cider and we dreamed. We dreamed together at our first, I'd been in Arbonne 2 months. She'd been in Arbonne literally less than 1 month. And we dreamed and we looked out into the parking lot, which was empty except for our two cars and beat up cars, I might add. And we envisioned white Mercedes filling the parking lot. So are you taking time to envision what you want? Not saying what you want, which is also important, but are you envisioning what you want? And so in that parking lot, we envisioned those white Mercedes. We envisioned our team. And then guess what, guys? It started to snow with white, beautiful white snowflakes. So instead of Mercedes, we had white snowflakes falling from the sky. And every single one of those snowflakes represents a person and a business and a family and a life that's been changed. And so that's what I want you to think about. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about we. And it's about how many lives are you not changing because you're so afraid to give this away? It's a gift. And when we have a gift and it sits on the table, we don't keep it. We give it away, right? We wrap it, we give it away. And it's more beautiful because it's wrapped and it's from you. That's what you have inside of you with Arbonne. And I want you to think about that. It's the gift of giving. It's the gift of sharing. And it will change more lives than you can ever imagine. And for those of you that were at Paola, or those of you that are going to join us next year, my one yes changed thousands and thousands and thousands of lives. That's all you have to know to talk to the next person tonight or tomorrow. Okay. So thank you so much. This was so special. Thank you for this time together. I hope you'll share this recording. And thank you, Dina, for organizing this, and just appreciate each and every one of you. And I just so appreciate and cherish our time together. So thank you all.
Thank you. Truly, truly better together. And I appreciate you. I tell you that all the time, but I can't tell you that enough. And to all of you, thank you so much for getting on and sharing. And maybe I'll see you all at 5:30 Central and 6:30 Eastern in the morning. All right, let me end this. And wait a minute, I just need to get to the recording part. Where's It's not doing, it's making me end the meeting. I don't want to end the meeting, but it's going to do that. All right. Good night, everyone.